Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10K Q&A. If you haven't seen the 5K one, check it out here. If you have seen the 5K one, you're probably asking yourself, where's the cosplay? Well, last time I repurposed a cosplay that my fiance had for herself. This time I guess she's been making me one in secret, and I don't know what it is yet, so I hope you guys are in for a surprise as much as what the
Tarks Gauntlet.
Alright folks, so the cosplay is here, and I guess we're just gonna dig in and find out what it is. Which one do I open first?
This one.
What the fuck is... Really? Is this my backpack? Alright, who's got guesses? I can already tell exactly what this is. You know what I was expecting was Froppy.
Really?
I thought you were secretly making Froppy. Okay, let's figure this out.
Oh
Yeah, that needs to be safety pinned. It's a bucket literally full of candy.
Okay, it's not full. I cheated.
Okay, it's not full. It's fake full. Uh-oh. Well, here it is. The Q&A with Minori, I guess. If you want to get a safety pin and my beer,
Yep.
I'm ready to start answering questions now. Today's Q&A is not sponsored by Dab. Alright, so our first question is coming from Prince over on Patreon, and he asks, do you drink? What are some of your favorite alcoholic beverages? My favorite alcoholic beverage is, and I'm going to butcher the name of this, Hockerschwar Killer Beer. It's a craft German beer. Unfortunately, the liquor stores where I live don't even carry it anymore, but maybe in the future, and I guess you can get it on special order. C asks, what do you think of the new Tales of Arise game, graphics-wise? As we've seen on screenshots and trailers, the colors seem less vibrant and inviting. So, when we only had the screenshots, I was a little bit concerned. The characters look anime, the environments looked pretty realistic. I thought that they would clash a bit, but now that we have a trailer and we see it all in motion, it looks pretty good. I think it's gonna age worse than the other ones, and I wish they targeted more of a Vesperia-style graphics, but it is what it is. It looks alright. Game X Junkie 28 asks, best JRPGs coming out in the future to look forward to? Alternate question, what was your first JRPG and what hooked you into the genre? As for the first JRPG I played, I really don't know. When I was growing up, we never really called them that, and my early childhood is pretty damn fuzzy. I want to say the first RPG I played was Zelda 2, and then games like Legacy of the Wizard and the early Dragon Warriors. The first one that really grabbed me was probably Legend of Dragoon, though I had played some Final Fantasy games up to that point as well. And for RPGs to look forward to, you don't even need me to say it again, Trails of Cold Steel 3 coming later this year. Hal Emmerich 14112 asks, how did you get so cool and will you be my friend? I don't have lots of friends. Neo Origami asks, if you could be in any ecchi anime or video game world, what would it be? I would probably just go with Senran Kagura, cause let's face it, most anime games with a lot of ecchi shit in it take place in really dark and broken realities. Desmond asks, why did you fall in love with Falcom's The Legend of Heroes? What first Trails game did you play, and who is your favorite character in the series? So I fell in love mostly because of the characters and world building, and how they build so much in the background of everything, just to make it all explode in your face in one of the most epic ways you could possibly do in the medium. The first Trails game I played was Cold Steel 1, but my favorite in the series, without a doubt, is this boy here from the Sky trilogy. The Universe, are you looking forward to Grandia 1 and 2 remake on the Switch? When is it coming out? I don't know when it's coming out. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it's digital only, so I might be holding out until there's a physical copy. Ads 1281, are you looking forward to Trails of Cold Steel 3? If another Trails of game comes out after Cold Steel 4, What location would you like it to be? Of course I'm looking forward to Cold Steel 3. It's my most anticipated game of the year. If they do another arc after Cold Steel, which I believe they will, I'd like to see it set in Calvard. We've got a lot of information about the politics of that land and their immigration struggles and stuff, and I think there's definitely a lot more to dig into there. Caden Walden McDaniel asks, favorite Xenoblade girl, favorite FPS, and favorite sci-fi movie. Favorite Xenoblade girl? Probably Sharla. There's something about her very personal struggle that just kind of resonated with me. My favorite first-person shooter is a pretty old one, horror-themed, Clive Barker's Undying. It's possible it hasn't aged that well, but it still has a lot of little tricks to its spooks and scares that really get me. As for sci-fi movies, I'm not too sure. Like, I like a lot of sci-fi, but most of my sci-fi that I enjoy dips into fantasy, like Star Wars and stuff, or it dips into horror, like Event Horizon. Shiva playing video games, favorite food, and favorite Senran Kagura game. Cheers for 10,000. Thank you, Shiva. My favorite food? I don't know, probably like burritos and poutine or some shit. Favorite Senran Kagura game? I still gotta give it to Shinobi Versus. I do think Burst has the best gameplay so far, but Shinobi Versus had like really nice character backstories as well as good gameplay. I think it was the best blend of all the elements so far. J-Run, favorite generation of gaming and most anticipated game of the year. Again, Trails of Cold Steel 3, most anticipated of the year. Favorite generation of gaming? I really love the PlayStation 1. Everything in that generation was so random and experimental, and even if the ideas didn't always work out and they weren't always perfectly fleshed out, they were friggin' interesting. Not just video games. I can't really think of a question at the moment, but I love Arion, and your shirt is rad AF. Favorite Arion album? Mine is probably Into the Electric Castle, or Human Equation. What other prog bands do you enjoy? Thanks for all the rad work you do. My favorite Arion album is probably a tie between Human Equation and, I'm probably gonna fuck this up, but 1011001, also known as Y. Those two are definitely tied for first for me. I also listen to Dream Theater, Haken, Circus Maximus, Seventh Wonder, Camelot, Native Construct, runs a gambit. I really like my prog. Midnight Zero, which Mega Man series is your favorite? I noticed a lot of Mega Man 2 music in the back, but have you ever played the Battle Network series? My favorite Mega Man game, and my favorite game of all time, is Mega Man 2. So my favorite series is the classic series, namely 1 through 6, though I did like 9 and 10 as well. I have played Battle Network, but only the first one. I bought 5 of them in a lot once, and I was intending to do them all, but after playing the first one, it didn't quite grab me, so I ended up selling most of them. I'd like to give them another chance sometime. Sly Strawl asks, are you planning on doing any more anime reviews? And as much as I would like to, they almost always get copy claimed and copy stricken, so it's not really looking too good. I don't know how other channels do it. Graphics Grant, if you had to pick Soul Calibur or Dead or Alive, I would pick Soul Calibur. I was a nut for Soul Calibur 2, 3 I enjoyed as well, 4 was okay, 5, I know. I am losing interest in fighters just in general, so take that with a grain of salt, but Nightmare, such a badass. Alright, so I'm probably gonna butcher this one too, but Yumi Da? Which JRPG is it that you have spent the most time on? That's probably a cross between Tales of Symphonia 1 and Legend of Dragoon, because both of those, as they came out, I played and beat so many times back to back over the period of so many months. Civil Warfare 101. What game has the most satisfying combat to you? It can be any genre. Also, do you prefer KOTOR 1 or 2? Most satisfying combat is probably the Dark Souls series. It just feels damn rewarding. Otherwise, things like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry are the most fun by far. And I prefer KOTOR 1 over the second, just because of that one pinnacle moment. If you played it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm not gonna spoil it, but KOTOR 2 doesn't really have anything like that, and it kind of unwrites the game that came before it, or at least lessens the impact of it. Voltsy asks, what's your favorite game you haven't talked about on the channel? A lot of my favorite games there's no point to talk about, like old platformers like Super Mario World, Mario 3, Donkey Kong Country 2. Those games are timeless treasures and they're so well crafted, but why even bring them up on a channel like this, right? You guys don't care about that. RPM2878 asks, why do you keep your PSN activity and trophies hidden? 1, because I'm not a trophy hunter, I don't really care about those things. 2, because it's just something that anybody who disagrees with me on a review will just end up using to fuel some pointless fire. So like, let's say Ni no Kuni 2. I wasn't the biggest fan of that game, and I got a lot of people who are upset that I said as much. Now, had my trophy data been open to the public on that, you'd get some people who would be like, I got 98% of the trophies and you only got 60. So my opinion is better than yours. Everybody should listen to me. And I don't know, I think it's pointless bullshit, and I just kind of want to spare myself the future and inevitable headache. Damascus Unverse asks, what methods do you use to stay grounded when you're feeling stressed? Is humility a virtue? Humility is a virtue. I think anybody can learn something through humility and self-reflection. When I'm feeling stressed, I actually don't get stressed. It's weird. Or it takes something very big for me to get stressed. 6 months ago or so, I had all of my online information stolen and my credit cards and debit cards were drained. I got stressed to the point of vomiting. It was bad. Most of the time, things don't stress me out. Maybe I have like out-of-body experiences and I just don't acknowledge the stress I feel. Sometimes my body will let me know that I'm really stressed when I don't know I am because I'll start to get weird stress rashes and shit, but I don't know. I don't always understand how to experience the feelings of stress. I'm a little weird that way, I guess. Bricky Boy asks, favorite hentai? We answered that in the last video. Go check it out up here. Knucklehead asks, favorite genre outside of RPGs and favorite game in that genre? The answer is survival horrors and... favorite game in that genre. Fatal Frame 2 and Rule of Rose I fucking love. Yes, the gameplay's not that good, but god damn, that story gets me. I don't know, dude, that's a loaded question. Very loaded. I can't just answer that one on the spot. Super Gunner XD asks, are you gonna do more quality cosplay and who is best girl? I don't know, I think I'll do pretty good. Best girl is still, I think, Misato from Evangelion. She is my favorite female character in anime. Otherwise, if you're looking for something just, like a lewd recommendation for best girl, I can't remember her name right now. The mother from Witchblade got the right figure. Z-Mangs asks, Ozfest is back in 2020, and you have 5 slots to fill the main stage. Who's headlining? I would headline this like I would headline something like Prague Power USA. Seventh Wonder, Dream Theater, Symphony X, god, they need to do more live shows. Arion, that'll probably never happen. And Persephone, I want to see all of those live. I want to see a lot of bands live, but those 5 would kill for. Zero Master, what are your hopes for E3 2019, and why is it Mega Man Legends 3? Well, I would love Mega Man Legends 3. E3's gone by and we didn't get it, so F to pay respects. Art Minus Me asks, if you were in charge of adapting a feature film, past or present, into a JRPG, what movie and why? I would totally make an RPG universe, maybe even an MMORPG, which I guess wouldn't be a JRPG, but I would use Titan AE. That movie didn't do too good at launch, but it has an incredible universe with so much untapped potential, and I really wish we got better things for it. Overload asks, how did you grow your channel in the beginning? If possible, please have as many details as you can. I'm sorry, Overload. I didn't grow my channel. I don't know how to grow a channel. I keep doing what I'm doing, and I hope that I improve. I do hang around some smaller channels, and I try to, show support where support will be felt. And sometimes that support comes back and there's just a whole circle of small channels supporting each other. But as for growing a channel, I mean, I'm not an expert on this one. You're gonna have to find that advice somewhere else. I've just always done my best to, keep on the straight and narrow, keep doing what I'm doing, and just try to keep improving at it. I don't even really plug myself very much, so like, comment, and subscribe. Gaming with Spoons asks, where does your channel name come from? What is the story behind it? I might have answered this one before, but I'll give you the quick rundown. So, Tark is actually the name I gave to a character in an old MMO called Arklord. I was starting as a Orc class character and I needed a name. First name I put in was already taken, so I kept changing the name one letter at a time until I ended up with something close to, but not quite, Tark. As per the Gauntlet part, me and a buddy were playing a game of Catopoly one night. He bought out one entire side of the board and referred to that as the Gauntlet, and it just kind of stuck with me, so I made Tarks Gauntlet. Now, if I have told that story before, here's something you might not have heard. Tark was also the name of my Dungeons & Dragons character for a few years. He was a basic human fighter with very little intelligence and a lot of charisma. Here's my artist rendering of him. He's mentally handicapped, but his charisma is right here. He's got a big ol' wiener. His backstory is that he was abducted from a town when he was young and raised by a bunch of rebels. Those rebels then brought him back to his hometown where he ended up killing his own family, and now he carries around his sister's head. That's the story of Tark in Dungeons & Dragons, the handicapped guy with a huge dick that killed his family. Dynasty Star asks, what is the most degenerate game, visual novels can be included, you've ever played? Without a doubt, the most degenerate game I've ever played is Rayplay. Doesn't help that the game is garbage. Samarizi, when did you first discover that you really enjoyed playing fan service-centric games? I never really discovered that I enjoyed them, it's just they existed, and some of them are good. So, I don't know. The fan service part doesn't faze me, I just play games and sometimes they're alright, sometimes they're not. Joe K, tell me how you grow that beard. So Grumpy Munchins, Comedy and Gaming. Great channel, check them out. Asks, what was your first cartoon/animation crush as a kid or an adult? I can't really recall my first exactly. God knows I had a few growing up, but I want to say Kagome from Inuyasha. Kinda done the trick. Smash JT asks, what motivated you to start your channel, and do you or did you ever have a subscribe? What motivated you to start your channel, and do you or did you ever have a subscriber goal in mind? I've never had a subscriber goal in mind, and if I did, we're probably already way past it. Nothing motivated me, I guess, beyond feeling like it's something I could do, and I guess I needed another sort of creative outlet. Basket Casey asks, would you ever consider collabing with me again? You get fucking Mario Maker 2? And goddamn it, we're gonna play some levels together, just like the old days with Finecraft. Kyle the Ultimate, you have a fiance, right? How does she feel about you playing your waifu or games, and how can I get mine to stop giving me death stares whenever I play Senran Kagura? Honestly, her and I both kind of picked up these styles of games around the same time. Now, what really got her in was this character right here, Minori. My fiance loves hamsters and cute things, so of course, that was an instant win for her. Now, fan service games for her or myself aren't exactly, you know, sexual things. They're not sexual experiences. They're just games with a lot of sexuality, and that's just fine. How do you get your girlfriend to enjoy it or be accepting of it? I don't really know what to tell you. Like, you either have a perspective where it's okay or you don't. And that might be a lot in, you know, how maybe you approach the games. Do you look at these games and be like, damn, I gotta stop playing every 10 minutes to jack off? Because if so, I could probably understand her being a bit bothered, I guess. But, you know, if they're just games with a lot of sexuality, I think everybody understands sexuality is fine. It seems harmless to me, maybe it's not to everybody, but whatever. To each their own. The Wizard asks, would you cosplay as a Trails of character? Yes, and it would probably be Tita. I don't know why. What are the names of your cats? Leia and Rey. Leia is the thick fluff, and Rey is the little black one that hardly shows up. Yes, both named after Star Wars characters. Devin asks, are you married yet? No, but I will be soon. In about 2 months, actually. Pokemon Trainer Blue, are you more likely to excuse bad gameplay or bad story if everything else is incredibly good? I'd like to say that this is definitely a case-by-case thing, but looking at my history, I've definitely excused more bad gameplay than I have bad story. Rule of Rose, again, comes to mind. The gameplay is notoriously not that great, but the story definitely catapults that to being one of my all-time favorite games. So, take that for what it's worth. Inari the Fox, how do you feel looking back at your old videos? Do you feel like you have improved? Where do you want your channel to go? I don't know where I want my channel to go. I guess I just want to keep improving and hope people find value in it. If it grows over the course of that, great. My old videos, how do I feel about Tales of Destiny 2/Eternia? Pretty fucking cringe. I don't watch them, and half of them I unlisted. When I get new comments on them, I wish I didn't have to have a reminder that some people are actually watching them. Ben Hillman, do you think the culture will ever change enough for more niche and or trashy weeb games to hit a bigger market? Yes, I think over the last 10 years, we've seen just that. Unfortunately, as the niche market is growing, the counterculture to the niche market is also growing. You know, the more something gets a spotlight, the more people take up arms against it. So, yes, it's growing, but it's also getting more backlash than ever, so there's that. Radley Stark asks, Tark, why don't you do more reviews of more mainstream JRPG material? I love your work, but have to admit I totally skip all the waifuer stuff. It interests me not one iota. Some of your reviews are wasted on games that nobody will ever play. However amusing it might be for you to mess around with that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is a very good question, and honestly brings a lot of constructive criticism and opinion. So we're going to move over into serious mode for a minute, so I can actually answer this and address something that's been a bit of an ongoing problem with this channel. Okay, so on your first point there about more mainstream RPGs, I generally only cover them if I'm playing them at launch and if I feel like, it's worth covering. If I have something worthwhile to say, that's not being said elsewhere. But if around the launch of a more mainstream JRPG, there is a more niche JRPG coming out, I'm far more likely to pick up that one and lend my voice to that, because that's the one that probably needs more exposure. There may come a day where I cover more mainstream JRPGs, but as it is right now, I really like looking into the things that nobody else is. Or just in general, looking into the things that you guys might not be hearing about otherwise. As per Waifaware, this show probably isn't going to be a permanent staple on the channel. It's far too risky here in the current YouTube landscape. It's also, not taking any time away from other games. Waifaware is a series that I made for 2 reasons. One, because I thought it was just gonna be fun, lighthearted humor. They're not meant as real reviews exactly. It's just fun to reach into the trash and see what we pull out. The second reason I created Waifaware is that the series actually gives me more time to work on the bigger games without having a lull in my uploads. But as I said, with YouTube being what it is, I'm probably not going to be able to keep the series going. I created 7 episodes for a season 2 and that might be the end of it. The reason for this: 1, YouTube does not like this kind of content. Even when I age-gate these videos, there's still a chance that YouTube might take them down. And on that note, yes, these videos I largely do manually age-gate. So most of them aren't getting any sort of ad revenue and they're not getting pushed by YouTube. A lot of the times too, it's actually causing new subscribers to leave the channel because it's not what they came for and this shit maybe kind of freaks them out. That's understandable. Waifaware is a blessing and a curse on this channel, but because it's both a curse and because it has the potential to possibly destroy my channel sometime in the future, I don't see it being a good decision to keep going forward with this kind of content. As much as I would like to, and as much as it does help keep a steady stream of uploads and keep some people coming in, it is pushing others away and it does come at a very great cost. So, it's bad news, I know, but Waifaware, realistically, I just don't think I'll be able to keep going. But it is what it is. If you don't like Waifaware, by all means, I don't blame you. And I've said it several times before. I write Waifaware in the title so those who are not interested just don't have to click on it. But yeah, unfortunately, it's probably not going to stick around. So, we're gonna close on that more serious question, but I hope you guys here had some fun. As always, thank you so much for all the support. We are 10,000 subscribers, which is probably 10,000 more than I thought we were ever gonna have. Next time we do this, we'll probably be at 25k. If you guys have any more questions, hang on to them until that 25k Q&A. As always, folks, thank you once again for all the support. It means the world. And I hope that I'm giving you guys something of value to make your subscription actually worthwhile. Thanks for watching.